Mark Denholm
at breakfast podcast.
Hello, it's the weekend again, and that means it's podcast time again. This time, episode 193. Welcome. It is Mark Denholm from the Atom Radio Breakfast Show with the best bits harvested, delicately harvested from this week's show. Who am I trying to kid? On the way, we have lazy people. We have why you shouldn't stand for being lazy. We got marathon runners as well. We got life tips from Richard Brown. We've got unfortunate times you've nodded off, and this is almost unbelievable, I have to say. We also discovered a TripAdvisor for exes, so therefore the X list, the ex-facor, and we have annoying passengers.
Mark Denholm
at breakfast podcast.
Morning. Welcome to Monday. It is Mark Denholm at breakfast, banging out the anthems. If you're thinking today you need something done, get a lazy person to do it if it's a hard job. Why? Because Bill Gates says a lazy person will find an easy way to do it.
This is Mark Denholm
at breakfast.
Atom Radio.
First, though, yesterday was the London Marathon 2022 edition, where tens of thousands of people went out. Some of them serious athletes, most of them fun runners. And if you did it yesterday, congratulations. It is quite an achievement. So I'm told. I've not done it myself. And I wouldn't do it either, because by the time the ballot closes and you then find out whether you're in it or not, as a non-runner, which I am, you'd never ever have enough time to train to get up to 26.2 miles. That's why I've not done it. But speaking of the ballot, it's open now for the 2023 race, which is back in the spring, and the ballot therefore closes on Friday. Imagine that you go in for the ballot, you are successful for the ballot, and you are going to do it wearing a costume. What will your costume of choice be? On air at atomradio.co.uk this Monday morning. We'll say good morning to Tim and thank you for your email. Tim says, I'd choose a costume that covers my face so nobody can see me, and then the embarrassment of being possibly the slowest man on the course, I'd never have to front up to it. Other than all those who saw you get changed into your costume, Tim. But I know what you're saying. I don't really think, though, unless you are a serious athlete, I don't really think it's about the time, is it? It's just about the taking part, Tim. So in that case, you'll be all right, my friend. But, you know, if you are going to wear a costume that covers your face, then, yeah, nobody is ever going to see you, are they? Nobody will ever know other than those that you choose.
Mark Denholm
at breakfast podcast.
19 minutes to 7 o'clock. Morning. Mark Denholm at breakfast, banging out the anthems on Atom Radio. The day where more phone calls than any other are placed. Guess it? Mother's Day. More phone calls in any year are placed on Mother's Day than any other year. And if you are doing a spelling test today, no lemon, no melon, spelt backwards, is no lemon, no melon. There you are.
Mark Denholm at breakfast.
This is Atom Radio.
This day, 1911, Britain's first underground escalators were introduced. They connected the District Line and Piccadilly Line platforms at Earl's Court. Who would have thought since then, though, people would have used them for viral TikTok videos of surfing disasters.
This is Mark Denholm
at breakfast.
Atom Radio.
9 minutes to 8 o'clock. Mark Denholm at breakfast, banging out the anthems on Atom Radio. There are more chickens in the world than there are human beings. Wow. Which came first, the chicken or the egg? Nobody knows that, do they? But what we do know is that more chickens are in existence than human beings. The total weight of all the ants on the earth is about the same as the total weight of all the humans on the earth. So it's fair to say that there are many more ants than there are humans. And also, by the way, if your friends call you lazy, don't have it. Do not stand for that. Napping for even 6 minutes can help improve your memory. So you're not lazy, you are improving your memory.
Mark Denholm
at breakfast podcast.
We'll say good morning to Richard Brown, a man out doing battle with the traffic as we speak, as he heads to work on a Wednesday. I wonder, though, we know Richard Brown for keeping the nation moving. And I know that he doesn't have any trains at all in his fleet, so he can't be blamed for that. But I wonder, though, how you cope with keeping the nation moving when the roads are going to be absolutely chock-a-block today. Just keeping the nation transported, perhaps, today. I don't know. Morning, Richard. And happy hump day to you, my friend. It's an exciting day in the Brown household, by the way, as indeed is every Wednesday, because after work it's Washing Wednesday. And I may mock that, but Richard comes in from work, right? So he's already been out of work all day, and he does the laundry on a Wednesday. And that kind of makes sense to me, because I stupidly save mine and I end up wasting my time at the weekend doing the laundry when that's my time, and Richard's weekend is Richard's time because he did his laundry on the Wednesday. So there you are, maybe a top life tip from Richard Brown. Perhaps if this, keeping the nation moving doesn't work out, he could go on and become like one of these life coaches, and one of his biggest things to implement would be Washing Wednesday. Yeah, now all we need to do is come up with an alliterative thing for Monday and Tuesday and Thursday and Friday. There we are, Richard. There's a little challenge for you today when you arrive at work. Come up with an alliterative thing for the Richard Brown Life Tips Coaching for Monday, Tuesday, Thursday and Friday to go with Washing Wednesday.
This is Mark Denham
At breakfast.
Atom Radio.
I am jealous of these people. Some people can wake up at the right time just by anticipating it. Their bodies start producing stress hormones 1 hour before waking. Now that never, ever, ever happens for me, right? My alarm is set for 5 o'clock. I will either wake up when my alarm goes off, or I will wake up annoyingly at like 4:20, and that's it. I can't get back to sleep. I cannot, just by anticipating, wake up at 5 o'clock. It wouldn't happen. It'd either probably be like 5:30 later on, or it'd be at 4:20, and that wouldn't work.
Mark Denham at breakfast.
This is Atom Radio.
Morning, welcome to Wednesday. Today we're talking about the Conservative Party conference, where video has emerged of the members fast asleep during the speech by the Health Secretary Therese Coffey. I want to know, therefore, what's been the most inopportune moment that you have ever fallen asleep. And I did say this earlier, and I will be open and honest. I was on a second date, and this is going back years and years and years, right? I was on a second date, and I did quite like this lady, and I'm well aware that I do snore. I have been told on occasion that I snore, and unfortunately, we went to go and see a film, and it was her choice, and I didn't really find the film that exciting, and I ended up falling asleep. And I know that I snore, and she never told me whether I snored or not, but I absolutely know that that does happen. So it probably was a very, very embarrassing thing. And funny enough, we saw each other once more after that, and then that was the end of that altogether. So that's my inappropriate time of falling asleep. This, however, this absolutely blows mine out of the water, and you'll see now why I've saved it till last. It does say, please don't use my name. So therefore, as always, on any given day you can say don't use my name, and I won't. But this comes in, and this is absolutely going to blow all the others out of the water. You won't believe this, I don't think. I fell asleep at a funeral. It was a funeral for a work colleague, and I remember falling asleep. And thankfully, the person that was sat near to me did very kindly wake me up, very discreetly. But I fell asleep at a colleague's funeral. And I can see now why you didn't want your name used, if I'm honest. And it also does blow all the others out of the water.
Mark Denham.
At breakfast. Podcast.
Morning and welcome to Thursday. It's Mark Denham at breakfast, banging out the anthems on Atom Radio, 8:22. There is a boy who's never ever had a date, or in fact a man who's never ever had a date, and he's taken out a billboard ad asking someone to date him. Let's hope, though, that, as he's never had a date, he's not going to be reviewed, is he, on the X list? What would your review be if you could choose your own review? On air at atomradio.co.uk.
This is Mark Denham
At breakfast.
Atom Radio.
Today, we're talking about a website that I have found, which is basically TripAdvisor for exes. And that's the whole plan behind Tracy Teigen's website. She's a lady from the US who claims that she dated someone who had an affair and stole her rent money. Consequently, she then set up this website so ladies can review their exes and other ladies can check them out. And I'm just imagining now, when you go and buy a car and you can do a vehicle history check on the car, it tells you if it's stolen, finance wanted, ever been in an accident and all that. I'm just imagining now, like you're on Plenty of Fish or Tinder or Bumble or whatever, and then you come across someone, you're like, oh yeah, they're quite nice. Let me go to the X list and check them out first. Is it going to become like that, where you have to do that, like when you do a vehicle check when you buy a car? I don't know. I don't know where the world is going. Like back in the day, you just went out and you bumped into someone, you got talking, you swapped numbers, you met up, and you either liked each other and you didn't, you either went out with each other or you didn't. Nowadays, it's all digital, and you get a review as well from, well, former owners, I suppose.
Mark Denham.
At breakfast.
Podcast.
What we're about to talk about today does apply to Richard, because yesterday I watched an episode, yesterday evening, couple of episodes of Keeping Up Appearances, which is an old British sitcom from the 1990s, and it's about a snobbish lady called Hyacinth Bucket, pronounced Bouquet. Hyacinth Bouquet is married to Richard Bouquet Bucket, and there's a long-running gag that while they are driving in the car, Hyacinth never drives and Richard drives, okay? And there's a long-running gag in it where Hyacinth will suddenly say, "Mind the lorry, watch out for the horse, mind the pedestrian," and these are all things that are of no interest at all, like parked lorries on the other side, horses in fields, and pedestrians on pavements, right? So Hyacinth will say that to Richard, and therefore, I want to know today, when you are driving, what is the most annoying thing that a passenger can do when you are driving? On air at atomradio.co.uk. Now, I will tell you, if ever you get offered a lift with Richard Brown and you take it, there are many things that you can do to annoy him. Firstly, change the driving mode from eco to sport. Secondly, put on the air conditioning. And thirdly, adjust the vents. All of those he would email in. If he wasn't driving now and had the time, he would email in and say, change my driving mode, put the air conditioning on and adjust the vents. That's what he would say. So inspired today by Hyacinth Bucket, Mind the Lorry, what is the most annoying thing that can happen to you while you're driving from someone in the passenger seat? On air at atomradio.co.uk on a Friday morning.
Mark Denham.
At breakfast.
Podcast.
Do you know what? It really does anger Richard Brown if you do that whenever you get in his car. First thing he'll do, because he does drive with fuel economy in mind, is go into eco mode. And if you put it in sports mode, he gets so angry. And while he's fixing that, you can then turn on the air conditioning. And then he gets angry with that. And then you adjust the vents. And that is him, an angry man. It really does. What I did take away from yesterday, though, I think, is that passengers, when they get in a car, should be forced to take a vow of silence, and that's it. Because it would appear that most things that passengers do in the car appear to annoy the driver. So yeah, if you are offered a lift this weekend, just say thank you very much and just make polite conversation. Don't talk about anything else, and that will be all fine. Thank you so much for checking out episode 193 of the podcast. I can't believe we're closing in on 200 episodes now of this absolute nonsense, but thank you. If you've ever found the time to listen to any of them, thank you. And if you've ever found the time to listen to the show, thank you as well. That happens Monday to Friday on atomradio.co.uk, TuneIn Radio Box, Streamer and more.
Mark Denham.
At breakfast.
Podcast.